Hello bitches, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a video like this, and it's not even just a video, it's kind of more like I don't even remember the last time I've drawn in a sketchbook just for myself. Like, I feel like ever since I started applying to go to art schools, and then after art schools came applying to jobs, and you know, the cycle continues, I feel like there was always just this sort of expectations behind how sketchbooks should be, and that everything should be observational. You should never draw anything for fun ever again. But as time just goes on in life, you just eventually begin to realize that nothing fucking matters anymore. So I'm gonna start making a sketchbook for myself again. So you all have seen me do sketchbook tours on this channel. I've walked through some speed paints of mine, but I also realized I never actually had a whole video or a series of videos where I just draw in my sketchbook and I show myself drawing it, and then by the end of it I get to showcase the whole sketchbook. So in a way it will eventually pretty much be a sketchbook tour, but the difference between this and my other sketchbook tours is that before, you've never really seen me work on the sketchbook itself. I just showed you the finished thing. Now I am taking with you on every step of the journey with me with this sketchbook and seeing it from the beginning to end. So for those of you wondering where I got the sketchbook from, it's from Nara Park in Japan, which is a deer park, and my favorite animal is a deer, so that's why I got it. I don't know where you can find it online, but if you live in Japan and if you live in Tokyo in general, they have a lot of these types of sketchbooks. So this is going to be a very different type of sketchbook compared to all of the other ones I've worked on before. Anyway, what I plan to be doing with the sketchbook is every time I start a new spread, which means like, you know, 2 pages, this is a spread, I plan to have a theme around it that is something that I want to draw or something that is meaningful to me, just so I feel like I'm not directionless every time I start a new spread and I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to draw. So every video will be a different theme and I will be talking about the different things regarding that matter. And for this video today, the theme is the present, like what is happening in my life, what am I thinking or feeling, what is going on. There's nothing really big happening in my life right now other than the fact that I'm going to be finishing my contract with Netflix animation this coming week, and I'm gonna be so sad about it, but whatever. I'm pretty much just using the sketchbook to just take a moment to just observe the things going on around in my life and be more grateful towards them. Take that moment to just draw them out and think about them and appreciate them and just give it a good old smile. So without further ado, let's get drawing, bitches. So one of my tips for whenever you start a new sketchbook, for any of you who are fearful of that first front page, what I suggest for you is to start in the middle, because it takes away the pressure of feeling like you need to make the page look so beautiful, and pages in the middle tend to be when you stop really caring about what your sketchbook looks like anyway. But hey, if you start in the middle, chances are you might even make your drawings look better than intended, because you still have a bit of that need to make things look nice. So right now I am using the famous extinct Utrecht colored pencils that I mentioned in my top 4 art tool videos, so check that out if you want more information about these colored pencils. I've been using them since I was in high school and I've never stopped, and I hope that these colored pencils never die. But right now I am just kind of drawing what I envision to be my corner studio space, because I'm in the middle of trying to redecorate it, reorganize it. Lately, it's been getting pretty cluttered and it's been full of my equipment from work, but now that my contract is ending with the studio, I'm going to be returning the equipment. While I am going to be missing the high-tech gear, I do appreciate having some space on my desk, but ironically, I am going to be purchasing a 22-inch Cintiq as well as a new desktop to take care of my more professional work, like publishing my book and working on my comic. It's not going to take as much space as my previous equipment did, but I'm just going to figure out a way to rearrange my space so that it's not as congested as it was last time. I might even consider getting some wallpaper and just really making this space cozy and suitable for my personality. So yeah, keep an eye out for an upcoming video about decorating my studio space, a studio tour or desk tour, whatever they call it nowadays. So yeah, what I'm drawing right now is not my current studio at the moment. It is just a visual plan of what I hope to make it look like. So hopefully in a few weeks from now, we can compare and see how much I was able to match up to the sketch that I made of what I plan to do to my office. So because I'm in the middle of a work hiatus right now, I'm just really trying to focus my time on working on my comic book, and with that I feel like I really need to make the space in my apartment as productive, friendly as possible that will motivate me to want to work and just focus on it. So next to this drawing of my potential future workspace, I'm going to do a quick doodle of myself, but for some reason this Micron pen just almost exploded upon putting it down on the piece of paper, so I covered it with a heart post-it, but then there was so much inconsistency with the texture of the post-it and then the paper, and I just hated it, so I got some label paper, I stuck it on, and just pretended like nothing happened. So I know that I usually preach about, you know, drawing with pen so that you can face your mistakes, but because this is a sketchbook where I just honestly want to do whatever the fuck I want, I'm not going to treat this like a book that I would use to have as a portfolio for school or learning purposes. It's kind of just a sketchbook for me to just relax and just do whatever makes me happy. If I want to erase things with a pen, I'm going to do it. If I want to cover things up, I'm going to do it. I just really want to enjoy my time in this sketchbook and not have to worry or think about if the way I'm approaching this drawing is considered ethical or not in the art world. And because I've just pretty much been at home all day every day, I've really been rocking out with the oversized t-shirts and just drawing on my iPad, which is my life. So yeah, I like to take some pink to just kind of balance out that pink that I have in the studio drawing and just pull it in other areas to add some balance to the spread. So as you can see, I've really been fucking up with all of these drawings, but hey, thank God it's in the middle of my sketchbook. But at the end of the day, it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes them. So I decided to just use my Muji pen instead. I'm trying to figure out what type of pen I like best on this paper, and I really just need some bold lines going on to contrast from all that colored pencil I just did. Sometimes I like to pull drawings together even though they're not even related to each other, like my foot and the wires of my headphones. I just like to give drawings their two worlds, one family moment, like in Tarzan. So it makes things feel a little more integrated together. It makes the spread feel more like a spread that had some level of intention behind it. I don't know, it just looks nice to me, so that's what I did. So most of you might know already, but recently my boyfriend and I adopted 2 kittens, so I have to incorporate them on this spread because they're a part of my life now. And I usually get a lot of questions about how do you do life drawing when everything is moving or if you don't have a reference in front of you at the moment. What I suggest for you to do is, if you really don't have any references, just take a video of something and then find a frame of it that looks good, because the chances are a frame in a video would have a little bit more motion and life to it than just some photograph that was intentionally still. Also, heads up, my camera is going to be defocusing pretty often during the time I'm drawing my cat, so I guess we can't have everything nice in this world, but it's okay, we're going to be better next time about it. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, is if you can't get out and draw people doing gestures or whatever because you're stuck in your house all day because of COVID, well, a suggestion I might have for you, again, is to just find videos online of people dancing, moving, playing a sport, animals running, hunting, whatever. Pause on a frame in which they're in the middle of an action or motion, and you're more likely to still capture some amount of life in them as opposed to a photograph that is posed out and still on purpose. So growing up, I've always wanted animals of all sorts as pets. I used to want a horse as a pet, I used to want a deer as a pet, but you know, we eventually settled on a dog at first with my family because my parents are allergic to cats or dogs with fur, so we had to get a hypoallergenic dog with hair, and hello, bitch. Alright. Anyway, long story short, my parents were always allergic to cats and they still are, so I was never able to get them while living with them. So I just waited until the day my boyfriend brought it up to me and was just like, "Hey Michelle, I think we're ready. We're ready to start a family and have children. I mean kittens." So we eventually did the dirty deed. We bit into the forbidden fruit of adopting some kittens from an animal shelter. And that was the day that we welcomed Moon Pie and Bonbon, the Tabby Cat sisters, into this universe, even though they've been well alive long before we adopted them. I feel like these kittens have not only just kept us company during this whole quarantine, but they've also really been preparing us for parenthood in the future, which God forbid that happens anytime soon. That is not happening anytime soon. But I would definitely say taking care of these kittens together has definitely been worth the oxytocin for any of y'all who have been interested or curious about adopting. So when drawing these cats, I pretty much just use very similar colors to when I was drawing my potential studio space, except I kind of switched things up. I added some yellows and purples because in the studio space you can kind of see I did have some purples and yellows, but they're not as emphasized. So I think having Moon Pie, my cat, be yellow and purple kind of balances that out without me needing to use pen or anything, in which I am now using pen again for another doodle. So my main quarantine buddies this whole quarantine has pretty much just been my sister and boyfriend. We've pretty much been living with each other this whole time, and during moments like the weekends where we feel like we need to disconnect from our technology because it seems like that's the only thing that can keep us distracted during these times, we like to go on hikes. We go out to big open parks for picnics, and don't worry, they are social distanced. We wear masks. We've even driven to places as far as the Mojave Desert where there is absolutely nobody there. So we went hiking there and stargazing, which was really nice. It's really funny because the night we went stargazing was the night of the new moon because we wanted to catch as many stars as possible in the sky, and we were just like talking about, ooh, everything is gonna change after this moment for fun and for the heck of it. And strangely enough, after the new moon, things did start to change. We adopted the kittens, my sister got a job, just a lot of coincidences started happening, but they were nice coincidences. So the new moon does good things to you, I guess. So now we just have an inside joke about the new moon every time a month is about to end. We even got to a point where we couldn't stop saying "I can't believe it," so we ordered these fake tattoos that just say "I can't believe it" and got group fake tattoos. So quarantine really brought us all together. So I really didn't like that drawing of the heart mirror I did there on the bottom. I felt like it was too flat, there was no dimension to it, so I redrew it facing slightly to the left, and of course when I redrew it, my stupid ass had to make a tangent to the tail of my cat, and although this is a place of no stress, it just bugged me so much that I had to re-tape it with another piece of label paper, and at this point I'm just really owning the whole scrapbooking portion of the sketchbook. But hey, to some degree I really do think that covering up drawings you didn't like can add an interesting element to your sketchbook. It can add a scrapbooking sort of element. You don't always need to just use white paper. Other times I've used scrapbooking paper, I've used newspaper, or just other things to just make your spreads a little more interesting. They don't always have to be mediums like colored pencils, pens, pencils. You can take other pieces of paper and put them in your sketchbook too. So now I'm just kind of balancing out the rest of this spread by drawing random shapes and just putting them in places that I feel like could be filled. And I'm just writing the names of my cats and again, using things as filler spaces. And that is pretty much my spread of some of the present things in my life. Other than the whole studio space, like that's a future thing, but it's a current thought. But yeah, this spread, if anything, is kind of like a mind map of the now in my life, and maybe you can draw one of yours too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. This was pretty much the spread that I completed, and if you feel like you want to also copy like theme by theme for every video I make, please feel free, go ahead. You can tag me at MewTripled on Instagram, or just don't tag me at all. The point of this is to just learn to enjoy drawing again and make yourself happy with it and not get stressed out over something that really at the end of the day does not matter. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. So peace out and stay wholesome, bitches.